Nestled in the foothills of the Daniel Boone National Forest is the small town of Morehead, Kentucky. A college community bustling during the academic school year and during the summer and winter breaks, becoming your typical rural town. The sleepy community boasts a state university, Morehead State University. But what it doesn't boast is the strange happenings on campus and around the man-made lake. This is Morehead Mysteries. Morehead State University opened in 1887 as Morehead Normal School for Educators until it opened as a co-educational university in the early 1920s. Our story begins here at Button Auditorium, where legend has it a janitor named Kate fell to her death.
I'm a graduate of Morehead State University, and I was a theater student back in the early 80s. And I had heard the story of Kate when we came, because we used to do most of our performances in Button. And so, of course, the story was passed down that Kate is the ghost of Button, and that she was a janitor that was leaning over to clean the clock and then fell over and died.
Another legend is that a little girl died at the site during renovations in 1966, and sometimes she can still be heard calling for her mother.
I had my work study in the scene shop back then, where we built all the sets, and there was a washer and dryer there, and I used to sneak in there late at night and do my laundry in there. And one night while I was in there, I was out fooling around on the stage, and the laundry, the washer and dryer were in the scene shop, and the washer made this weird noise. When I went into the laundry, the lid was up on the washer, and it had stopped. And so that just freaked me out. So I just left that night, and then never went back unless I had somebody with me late at night.
Little else is known except that students, faculty, and staff never feel alone in this building, especially in the backstage area. Next up is Breckenridge Hall, which was constructed in 1929. The building now houses the communications, English, and theater departments.
I have not personally had any experiences with ghost or spirit activity in the Lucille Cottle Little Theater in Breckenridge, but several of my students have commented on lights popping on or off at strange times or bursts of cold air. So what I tell them, and I do believe there might be some truth to it, is that if there's a ghost in there, it's got to be a friendly ghost, and it's probably Lucille Cottle Little, who the theater is named after. On opening night of the very first performance in the theater, which was Equus in October of 2002, Lucille Cottle Little actually passed away on that night. She wasn't in the theater. She had been elderly and was not able to travel. So I don't think her death was totally unexpected, but there is an eerie quality about it being on opening night of the first show in the theater that was named after her.
Many people in Breckenridge have experienced strange things, such as participants in the theater department who claim some lost souls still inhabit the building.
So we have a lot of really creepy things happen in the theater and kind of in our storage. Back here is where a lot of people kind of like report feeling uneasy and seeing things. A lot of people who are back in storage by themselves report seeing this woman who's all white in this Victorian dress, just kind of walking by the door or like standing behind them and then disappearing. And it's been like a consistent thing. We've had freshmen who knew nothing about this like woman appearing come and say something to the costume shop work studies, like, oh my gosh, I just saw this woman and it was so scary. And a lot of people feel very uneasy. A few years ago, actually, somebody actually came in and was like burning sage around the all of our storage and all of our theater. And we have a Crying Mary statue that just constantly has more red tears running down it. We bought it off of eBay for Carrie the Musical, and just progressively over time, more and more blood has appeared, but nobody is adding it, which is terrifying. And so after the show, we stored it away, and soon weird things started happening with it. like somebody felt uneasy, so they put a cross around it, and the cross kept falling down. And no matter how many crosses we set up around it, it would stand up and then just fall right over, which is awful.
Our next stop is the Camden Carroll Library. There's a section there called the Stacks where many mathematical, scientific, and other educational texts are kept. Many students come here to find what they need for their research or to do unsavory things. Still, many claim that the 4th floor is very uncomfortable as they feel a heaviness and unseen eyes on their every move. Next is Nunn Hall, a campus residence hall where a young woman is said to have killed herself for forbidden love by jumping from the 9th floor and landing on the 1st floor lobby. She is said to have died at the hospital a few hours later, succumbing to her injuries. Students have said things do indeed go bump in the night, such as televisions turning on by themselves, never feeling truly alone in their room, and one student even claimed to see a young woman standing at the end of a hallway one night before disappearing into thin air. Our last stop is Eagle Lake. Eagle Lake is a man-made body of water nestled at the northwest corner of campus at the top of an ungodly steep hill. It is said that the reason students are no longer allowed to swim there is because a young man drowned after becoming tangled in some kelp at the bottom of the lake. Some claim to see his spirit wandering the edges of the water on cold nights. Other students say that even in the middle of the day they feel as if someone or something is watching them through the trees.